The chat man always draw a long line from the start, but start making his career. I've been arguing about this and nobody has a real answer. You have to look at the archives of his website, which would involve looking at a lot of lolicon stuff, to be honest with you. I will say, I don't like the fact that the YouTube drama subreddit is more focused on if people are transphobic to Chris Tyson, determining the truth of these allegations, you know? Obviously, there's a lot of transphobia going around. There's a lot of people on Twitter, you know, really right-wing dudes who are like, Chris is a pedo and we do it because Chris is trans, right? There's that kind of stuff going around. But that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue in this situation is if Chris and Mr. Beast...
Shall we discuss a proposal I have? In person would be best.
If that person is... That is the issue. Anyhow, Keemstar is mad, justifiably so. But this is not the only criticism being made of Chris Tyson.
Or sus than a character from Among Us. First off, he was accused of sexually abusing and grooming.
Just had to pull that clip out real quick. What's up, Internet Anarchist? Just had to pull that clip out real quick for old time's sake. I don't know how many people in chat even remember the Internet a J arc. I don't know how many people review. I don't know how many of you remember that. It was like 2 years ago, but maybe even 3 years ago. But that was a funny era. That was a funny era. Okay. Shout out Internet as well. You can go with some nice stuff. All right. Unfortunate interactions. It all started with this video by Prism42, a small creator who went through some old chat logs with Chris and found interactions with someone named Lava GS. Here we have Lava GS on Twitter, who follows me. I'll try to follow too. Lava is a small creator and video editor who was a big fan of Mr. Beast way before he blew up, apparently being among the first 500 people to subscribe to his channel. Eventually, Lava managed to appear in a video titled I Made 100 Players Escape an Impossible Maze.
Lava, Pluto, assemble!
Hi, how are you?
I need you to make this 10 times harder.
So Lava essentially became a member of the Mr. Beast team, it seems, so was editing for them at one point. I believe he removed it from his bio, but I believe he worked for Mr. Beast, probably until recently. I don't know if he's still working or not. Prior to this, he won a Mr. Beast giveaway and was sent a CSGO knife signed by him. And here we have a picture of that knife, the Koran, very swaggy. And amidst the many interactions he had with Mr. Beast and the crew, Chris reached out to him and they started to work. Prism showed Chris offering Lava a position as a stream moderator. This guy seems like a giant spitter, by the way. I'm really guessing. Prism showed Chris offering Lava a position as a stream moderator. Here we have, I really enjoy playing Fortnite. You guys want to watch me stream? Lava says, please stream again. Chris says, thanks, Dad. I'll moderate it. And Lava says, I'd love to. Juxtaposing it with the fact that Chris was 20 and Lava was 14. 13 in the beginning. Eventually, Chris sent him a snap that says, coming for America. He says, I get weird snap from Chris. Along with Lava saying he's a different man off camera, which he did say here. Now, here's a clip from this video as well.
I get weird snap from Chris, and it's a picture of him making a weird face next to an American flag that says, coming for America. Now, you might think that, oh man, this must be some weird 4th of July joke. Nope, it's not 4th of July. You can clearly see the date right there. This guy would have been like 15 at this point. And why are you sending a 15-year-old a message saying coming for America? Why are you DMing a 15-year-old on Snapchat? Why are you doing that?
That's a good question.
What's poppin', amigo?
A child had it on Snapchat. That's a great question.
Let me explain, or at least sum up.
So some of their interactions were normal. They were generally talking.
Can you please point that thing somewhere else?
Here we have him saying perfect timing. I mean, this one seems, you know, it's whatever, right? Some of the interactions are not so normal. For example, Lava joked about Chris having a hentai addiction. Does Chris know about your hentai addiction? Or does she know about your Lava, sorry, is saying, Chris, does she know about your hentai addiction? So the implication here is like, on one hand, this could be a joke. On the other hand, is Lava joking about the fact that he knows Chris is addicted to hentai? Given that Chris was like, you know, probably jorking into shadow.
Some advice? Raid your supply locker for the best gear before starting this.
Talked about having a habit with a 14-year-old boy. Another unwholesome bit of interaction was when Chris advertised their Patreon by promising to release.
Did this coalition give you any more details on the trap they're planning?
They didn't trust me enough to say, but it's definitely going to happen. Probably.
But Lava responded by saying,
Someone, anyone, please help me.
I'm headed for you.
The two exchange a few more replies.
I'll roll you one.
That's the trap I told you about. Be careful, it's set up.
That's what I'm here. That's what I'm here for. I posted some fire news for you. Please don't share. Now, this reads as a joke because I assume if Chris wasn't put on grooming a kid, they probably wouldn't do it in plain sight. So I'm going to assume this is a joke. A joke in very poor taste that should not have made it to Lava, especially the Lava 14 or 13. That's pretty foul, right? The two exchanged a few more replies until Chris said, I shared some fire news for you, please don't share. As questionable as joking about this kind of stuff is in and of itself, when an actual kid is interacting with you, it goes a step further. It is not the wisest move to get them in on the joke. And I agree with that completely. In another exchange, Chris tweeted an image of his tabs on his computer, highlighting the tab that said dank memes. And here Lava says this is a bad way to hide your hentai. So joking about hentai again, kind of a weird joke that this 14-year-old is doing that, right? So why was okay with that? That's how you know this stuff is dated. Dank memes, right? 2019. Dank memes is 2019. Lava replied to this saying, love how I set up that embed shows you looking sexy. Once again, what the fuck is this?
And you know, I do think that if something happens, you know, you should say something, but you're claiming that nothing happened, so something very well might happen. But the fact that someone is in college, socializing, and making friends with your middle school is highly inappropriate, especially
The socializing part could be the part that is inappropriate comments and reference to hentai and stuff like that he was making like that. The really damning thing about it. But the question is, James was specifically for this person. We're going to go through what the evidence is. Other people, really content creators in Cheeto, Sense of Society, I'd say friends of the channel. I'm more friends with Cheeto, but Sense of Society. They covered the Shadow discourse and condemned Chris for being such a huge fan. So if you look up Cheeto, go to his channel. He had made this video. It says, "Oh, Chris Tyson." I watched it. However, Lava, the 14-year-old who Chris was talking to, who might have been 14 at the time, they're in their 20s now, came out and made a statement contradicting the narrative that had already been established itself. He said, so he calls out Cheeto and Sense of Society. He says, "These videos are massive lies and twisting the truth. Ava never did anything wrong, just made a few videos. I will never exploit it or take advantage of it. Can you do me a favor and comment on these videos and tell them to stop spreading lies, simply keeping away from children who are actively being exploited online.
Lead the way.
I'm not a victim of anything being claimed in these videos happened." So here we have these videos. Now these videos didn't actually talk about Lava, they're talking about Shadow and stuff. And so justifiably you had, you know, a Cheeto and Sense of Society mad about this.
Yeah.
They're like, we didn't even talk about this. You know, we didn't talk about this. Now, they are very mad as long as they can tweet down. I understand.
I see a horde over there.
But at the same time, Lava, Society, just given the fact that you know, this thumbnail claims that they're false because of the movie, and they went over the shadow and stuff, right? He says, "I'm not a victim and I'm not backpedaling any statements I've already made. Everything I've said is still true. Nothing bad happened to me in the press. People are creating lies in my name. Yesterday, while there were a lot of stress for trying to get my story out as quickly as possible, I made a mistake and made 2 videos in which we had nothing to do with my story.
That's a lot.
Here are the correct videos, and those are the ones that should be taken. I apologize for the prayers, the original videos, and the first screenshots." So he wants this video and this prison video. Regardless of how this potentially exonerated Chris, as Lava himself claimed no exploitation happened, this is far from over. First off, Sense of Society responded by pointing out that he himself never talked about the Lava situation, mainly focusing on the other aspects of Chris's questionable online activity and associations. But it's also worth noting that grooming victims often don't know they're grooming. It takes a long time to realize it. Some of them even justify what happened, which casts a lot of doubt on Lava. Here, Alex Rose says, "Unfortunately, victims of abuse are often noticed to acknowledge what happened when it was wrong. I suspect a similar situation with Chris and
Yay.
Chris Tyson."
Okay. So we ripped that up pretty good.
So people are basically saying, "Look, Lava, we know you're saying you're not green, but you probably were green, and you know, you just don't realize it." So that's this. But again, someone of having groomed or molested a minor is not something anyone should do, right? And that's all I'm saying here, okay? I think some people in chat might be mad about me saying this. What I want to know
Well, that
is,
kind of
did
sucks.
Chris specifically groom this person? Grooming doesn't have to be inherently sexual, but grooming what this was. Limited. There were a few other
We dealt
factors
with the
that
threat,
led to the
but we need to
session
learn
that-
more
there
about this
were a few other
coalition before they
factors
show
that
up
led to
again.
the question of the narrative. One being the very strange course of action that prison took to get this information out there. They put a niece into the word respected. Yeah, well, specifically when he got frustrated that his investigation wasn't getting covered, he tried getting EDP 445 and Chris Chan, two degenerates in their own right, and EDP being an active while Chris Chan bonded his mom. I was tagged on as the true Chris Tyson's creep. I started investigating him a little over a year ago, trying to uncover this. Nobody covered it, so I had EDP try to bring attention to this. Associated
We
one,
take
certainly
care of
one of the
each other.
stupidest things he did.
We'll keep
And if
going.
you didn't catch what he said earlier, he basically said that he's admitting to the or you could also accuse him. Also, there are pics of Chris and Dean Blue Cloud together pre-transition. Why are you touching this? He's a PDF file. Lock him up. It's not a picture of Chris and Dean Blue Cloud. It's a picture of Chris and Soda Cat, who is friends with Dean, or was friends with Hula. Why are we questioning this? I'm questioning everything. I'm sorry. This works when you take into account that he actively complained about A-Drop stealing his video.
But Maurice over here literally got stabbed. He got stabbed in the back and screwed over because if you go watch his video, he literally just took minor bits of his video and then just like
I need a quick break.
it and then claimed it was his basically.
This looks really bad. This looks really bad. This prison that exposed Chris. Because if his genuine objective is simply to expose Chris as a predator, he shouldn't have an issue with other people also covering the topic. In addition, he should be trying to get active. He's sort of walking back on this still distracting right? Another fact is that people were frustrated with him is that in his video, he said that there was more of a situation that people did not fail to include it. To suggest that someone is a groomer,
Hey,
you can really do by leaving out loose ends and making open-ended allusions to incriminating evidence you
I'd like to trade, if you're open to it. Cool.
If you
Sounds
have
good.
more, why not just include it? Why do this video recorded outside at a picnic? Why not have it all there? Why not have it all there? Because then, if you have all this...
Hey, a beer in the morning is the best way to survive the apocalypse,
This is
don't
my
you think?
we're going over it.
I need to think on this a bit.
Here we have a trouble on this, very frustrating. Okay. Yeah, you knew about it. To be clear, I straight up do not believe this interpretation.
We can stop looking for the
Anyone else's
perfect outpost,
obligation to
because
report
this is
okay?
it.
YouTubers aren't obliged to report on every allegation or degenerate brings them, which is especially relevant when the evidence isn't 100% conclusive. You're basically expecting to take the risk of suffering potentially career-ending backlash for falsely accusing someone of being
This will come in handy,
Keep in mind, if
maybe.
you fish it up, like prison, I'd say almost did. Their chain of evidence is pretty bad. If you up and falsely accuse Chris of being filed, or if they are filed with wrong evidence, your career will be
Too much to
destroyed,
carry for long.
The trans community is going to... So you got to be careful when you're covering these allegations. So I do not blame a Cheeto for waiting. That's what you should do. You should definitely wait. Secondly, parents that complain about the Cheeto's coverage of the accusation of AIDS rock
Anyone listening? We've got goods to trade.
I'll take
To be clear, I don't think it's bad to want to have some kind of I don't think it's bad to want to have some kind of credit for stuff in your life, but that shouldn't even really be a concern for your pocket. So your concern should not be quality of your credit. Your concern should be if you believe Chris Sexton, your concern should be that this person gets exposed by the most people possible. Okay? People that aren't possible. Getting going to that
Undead. Close by.
Oh god! Not feeling too good.
Are you okay? You get bit by a plague zombie?
So keep in mind.
Plague zombie is a brand of beer.
We've got zombies coming.
Why does this screenshot not include the video? If you recall this for the photo, why not just have it in there? That they do right. Came from, and by the way, was not released in public, was done under the false pretense of a job interview.
Nothing undead in view.
Lava a job as a video editor, and that's how we got him talking about Chris. Admittedly, during the interview, Lava claimed that Chris never committed to anything against him, so this presentation was insincere and disingenuous.
Some of our shit just got trashed because we got no place to store it all.
We're making content about these creeps or whatever. We were not molested. We didn't have any rumors. We said, we had, people that talked inappropriately to us. They were trying to send us pictures. Did this thing ever happen to you? And he said, no, this, it didn't happen to me. And he specifically said, Chris Tyson, there's nothing weird about that guy.
That's not completely true. He said something like, that it might have been, but he didn't really
okay, sorry, I missed it.
So this guy says this thing, this guy says this other thing, and for some reason these people are not posting this out there. Prism is, how can you misremember a detail like that? Prism was saying, he said nothing happened, and this guy's saying, he said something might have happened. He wasn't aware. So, if what this guy is saying is true, why is that not out there? That would be such a convenient. But
exactly what we needed.
Negatively affected now. It's important to note that none of this fully discredits that Chris is a weird. Moving on, some ordinary gamers eventually reach out to Lava to get their story. One of the more important parts of the allegation is addressed to Lava and Chris met in real life. So this is Lava talking about that trip.
For instance, there is a rumor about a camping trip where I guess, they met up with the...
I believe Radius over Prism. I don't necessarily believe anything from them unless they have evidence of it.
Mr. Beast individuals as a minor. And they said, my family goes to North Carolina every year for vacation. We stay in a very nice camper at a nice campground. It happens to be 2 hours away from the Mr. Beast studio. And I've been helping with some Beast gaming videos, remotely at the time. Instead of doing it remotely, okay? My parents drove into the studio and met the entire crew. They knew where I was and met the crew before leaving. I have recorded some videos and then my parents came to pick me up and left.
Thank Christ for you.
Mr. Beast met, Mr. Beast
my face is blurred, and it was taken at the studio with multiple people there. So, anyways, it's about a hentai addiction, okay? I don't think I have to explain my audience what hentai is.
I need to rest.
Make somebody a victim if they keep claiming that they are not. And this is one of those things where obviously people have basically started to look at this whole controversial situation. Is this realistically?
So realistically, to believe that this to believe that is the case, you have to believe that Lava is
I like this place. A post
so
maybe?
that's basically the situation. Okay. Lava's a victim who doesn't see it as grooming because grooming works. But I how do you know? I would be totally willing to believe that if you have 1,000%.
Let's put something down first.
That Chris groomed us, but we don't. I don't have that. I don't have that. So what am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to say, they are a victim? Despite the fact I don't have evidence that they are a victim. Apart from a bunch of weird, gross tweets, which by the way, we cannot defend Chris for. Chris is, especially with the shadow, right? But this person simply being a victim, I don't know what to say. Look, Lava's lying, no point of grooming just to make them believe they weren't. But to say they were groomed, you need explicit evidence that they were groomed. You need explicit evidence that they were groomed by this person, right? Who is that? But we have evidence he was inappropriate, the grooming stuff is weird. That's, in this specific situation, that's what I think. What is the definition of grooming? What is the definition of grooming? The action of attempting to form a relationship with a child or young person with potential of sexually assaulting them or inducing them to commit illegal acts such as selling drugs or running a carry grooming. Do we have evidence of that? I don't think so. Grooming is building trust with a child as soon as the
empty ones.
access to control the child by utilizing certain behavior. So that is exactly. I mean, that's a different kind of. Maybe you could say, but I don't have specific evidence. That's exactly what happens. I didn't know. You know what I mean? People are saying that Chris sprayed on a child. I didn't know that. It doesn't matter what happened. He said something explicit to a minor. That's obviously not okay. Rightfully canceled, in my opinion. I think he's rightfully canceled. I agree with that. But I still think the truth of the allegation matters. I disagree. As far as the loud stuff went, no matter how disturbing Chris behaved, there was no clear-cut evidence of grooming. This doesn't mean that people are satisfied with the outcome. If anything,
No
a
more
lot of stuff not
zombies?
having closure motivated
Too
people to
bad.
do more stuff with Chris, Tyson, and so they did.
After all that's happened with that coalition,
Eventually, they came upon a Reddit
we need
post
to
that
make
just
sure
said,
we
"I
know
don't
who
think
our
headset
friends
anything
are."
other than greedy lolly game."
Mm-hmm.
And that does exist. Again, this could be chalked up to a joke if Chris were not genuinely into lolly material, but he is. He also thanks someone for linking into a subreddit called Real Scat Jokes, but that's just more gross than you. Bro or sis was poop hunting. Doesn't like you're supposed to do a minor world back. I think they're talking about like weird jokes and like the coming to America thing, right? Do we need evidence for doing more than we already do? Yes, obviously. 1000%. 1000%. If you joke about it that much, it might be something to it. I mean, the thing is with Chris Tyson is like the lolicon stuff is not just jokes, obviously. Like there are jokes about the fact that they're lolicon, but they are lolicons. He sent news to a kiddo, met up with a kiddo, another lesbian boy because did he send news to a kid? Where is the evidence he sent news to a kid? If that exists, I would love to see that. Because if that exists, then I think Chris Tyson should be shot in the head. Did he send news to a kid? Where is that confirmed? Can I please have a source for that? Please tweet that at me or email it to me. Tell us Ollie. If he sent news to a kid, what is it?
An apple won't do shit. You need a doctor. And your base needs a good clean infirmary. Make that priority one, or you won't last.
I'll preface this by saying that guilt by association isn't legitimate grounds for accusing of anything, but it is very much worth noting that Donald Hollywood was directly implicated in the Goon Clown case, being part of the Discord server where new material was shared, praising API in the early introduction and reference to reading kids and
It's down, not out. I can't keep swinging this thing.
Makes me wonder what's going on. It's not evidence, but it really makes me wonder. What does Chris think about moving stuff? What does Chris think about kids on HRT behind the scenes? It's still bad when he made a joke, but I can't find anything where he said actually it was could be right.
That's totally worthless.
Don't go, he's grooming. Then when asked about how exactly he go semantics, he brought up semantics, just say it was weird about it. Well, I didn't say anything. I said it was a lol. Maybe you're talking about something else. Want to chat now? I gotta do it.
I think I found everything I'm gonna.
Of course, this doesn't mean that Chris was directly associated with any of these people beyond having met John in real life, but it certainly doesn't look like it. And yes, this is undoubtedly two of the most prominent trans influencers in the world are friends with this person. That does make me wonder what's going on there. But it's not an allegation, it's a question. With all this brewing online, a number of allegations started to go out. An anonymous account called Quick Help Comes to the end to supposedly show Chris as being one of the Texas tweets and saw it, and when I was young, I couldn't see how it was manipulating me, but looking back at it, I can see. So that was really bad, right? This
one's locked.
But
hey, we're zombie free.
Tweet claims that Chris was 18 when this happened. This is patently impossible since the DM supposedly happened in 2020, which was far older. For context, Chris Tyson was born in 1996, meaning if the DMs apparently happened in 2020, that wouldn't really make sense. And And also, when he was 18, now he's was 14. When was Chris 18 years old is the question, right? He was born in 1996, and he was 18 in 2014, which is years before that video that they showed the DMs came out. However, there could be a simple case of the evidence being misrepresented by the ClickUp account, as in the DMs of the person who was supposedly receiving messages from Chris claims that they themselves were currently 18, but before doing the messages were exchanged in 2020. Nowhere in the attached images and videos does this person claim Chris was 18. The date is internally consistent, as the DM showed Chris talking about a Mr. Beast video that was released 4 years ago. There's also an issue with the video provided, where the person is scrolling through the DMs with Chris. However legitimate it may initially seem, since they did click on Chris's profile and the link takes it to the real one, meaning this wasn't a fake account just using the same name. The word today briefly appears in the chat. You can see that.
Oh look, click on a thing.
It said today there for a second. Yeah, it's just said today there. You can see it really briefly. I'll scroll back, you guys can see it again. You see it said today right there. This would mean that this couldn't possibly be from 2020 August. The DMs would have had to be something like today. There is an off chance possibly for today things was a glitch, but again, there's more than enough to seriously discredit these specific allegations. Another set of messages was also released by Chris, someone claiming to be an underage fan. Here we have these ones posted by Gut News. They say, Chris Tyson, an employee of Mr. Beast, who is best known for being a fan of buying volleyball from Chad, has been caught sexually messaging a different 14-year-old shared by the then 14-year-old in a Snapchat conversation between Victim and Tyson in 2019. Here we have this. You see his profile. Seems to be the messages are real for at least. Here Chris says,
find a thing.
Up. Thanks, Dad. Lol. Then they say, keep it a secret though. Lol. With this image, which reads, hey, I don't know if you heard about my bathwater prank and how crazy it's now. My stock is actually sold out at the moment. Rather than bring it up and actually walk into the bottle of coke with a giant cup of the body. Let me know if something that might be interesting in this. They say messages about kissing emojis from Chris. That is not good. Why are you sending some kissing emojis to this person? Chris Tyson. What's going on there? That is strange. Forced dad. But the caption here says they got sexually.
I could really get used to feeling like shit's going our way.
Here we have this one saying, my friend made a school shooter threat. It might give me the skins because it's grounded for life. Chris is ready to be real. They said, yeah, it's crazy. Chris said, it's to expel them. And then we have these two kissing emojis. This is a forced dad. Now, this tweet is kind of not real because they say sexually. And I haven't seen anything sexual. This is definitely foul. It's definitely gross. It's really bad. You shouldn't be sending kissing emojis to a 14-year-old. This person is 14. That's really bad. But they don't have the full context for the DMs, and this claims that they were caught sexually messaging with the I'm not seeing evidence. And that is a big claim today. Now we also have some other stuff. Well, this one had no issues like the other one. But the story contains sexual interactions with pics. While it is creepy and gross, Chris had a 14-year-old on Snapchat sent kissing heart emojis to him, and occasionally called him dad. Once again, this didn't constitute grooming since it didn't feel anything sexual. At least we know of this one. Then Charlie used all the hearing. There was a third evidence drop there with Chris. This time referring to Discord calls in which one of your comments were apparently made in the photos and videos.
And then when he gets 80, he just gets with some.
How is that not sexual? Well, typically a sexual thing is like talking about sex, right?
Like some dude with some cancer dick, he shoves it in his mouth and his mouth.
So the question to me is like, does Chris send kissing emojis to everyone? And that's why Chris like thought it was okay? And slowly did his document. Is that what happened? Was there more going on in those DMs that we don't have because only some of them are saved? Right? For this, who are the people in this call? Do I know they were minors?
This is seriously too heavy.
Minors? I need to know that, and I don't have greater context for these videos, which I need to have, in my opinion. I need to have that to make a Once again, this is one question than answers in regards to these videos I just played. Did Chris know these people were minors at the time? Or the other people on the call? What's their take on it? Did Chris message any of these people privately? It definitely looks bad that he deleted their entire Snapchat account once people started posting these things, but it still leaves us with a distinction of whether or not he had groomed someone or was just a generally creepy person. It's important to note all this stuff took place shortly after one of the biggest streamers, Dr. Disrespect, was exposed for allegedly making plans to meet up with a minor over the Twitch messages. This is why he was banned in 2020, which only came to light now. In response, Doc